welcome to the second review of the evening. I guess a bit of a technical note. If you want to know why the portraits of us have disappeared, that's a feature we use when we use Discord. Generally, for the reviews, we use Skype. Just
slightly better audio quality, etc.
Yeah. Plus, we can actually hear the theme music ungarbled. Like, it's just we had to use the first one because we were having I was having some audio problems last Friday. Looks like those have been sorted out, so we're back on the Skype. That being said, this is a little Lily princess. Gotta slow down on the pronunciation there because alliteration. Anyway, in British-controlled India, Sarah Crewe was raised like a princess by her doting papa, always given the best of everything. Now that she is old enough, she must be sent away to boarding school in a foreign land, relying on her love of books and fairy tales to help her make friends. But not all smiles can be trusted, and fortune can turn cold and hard at any moment. What would happen to a little princess if she lost everything? Choose activities to build Sarah's resources and change the direction of the story. Which girl will she form the strongest emotional bond with? Your decisions lead to 6 possible endings. Right, so the Lily in that is a reference to Yuri.
Although the characters here are... The main character is a minor, and most of the other characters are minors, and some of them are... And the ones that aren't are significantly older, so it is mostly chaste.
Like,
from what I've seen, at least. I didn't get to everything, so it's... Well, and some of it's not even like romantic love, it's just like really close friendships.
I mean, it outright builds itself out as a Yuri title. So it's a Yuri title.
Yeah, but it's not like a... It's not as strong as romantic of a Yuri title as some Yuri titles are.
Well, it's also there's a distinction between a Yuri title and a Class S title, like, because a Class S is actually a quote unquote quasi romantic 2-girl friendship. It has the appearance of a actual girl relationship, but it's a thing that girls are supposed to go through in like high school to prepare them for dating guys somehow. I mean, this is a this is a thing that is apparently a thing in Japan. Like, that being said, I'm not sure this is a Japanese visual novel.
I believe it is not, but I'm not sure.
So
regardless, this visual novel has one very interesting trait, which is that it is an adaptation of a fucking Victorian novel.
Yeah, I think the giveaway. I think the giveaway there was British-controlled India.
Yeah, like the novel is the one titled A Little Princess, or sometimes The Little Princess. It has been made into at least one live action and one animated movie or something within the last, I think, in the 90s. This does not follow the events of that precisely, but all of the main characters are characters in it, although some, like the redhead Jessie gets a significant amount of character development here, and in the actual novel she's mostly Lavinia, who is the alpha bitch's mostly her like hanger-on. And obviously all of the characters are aged up. In the original book, most of the girls are, okay, not most of them, but the main character is like 8, and the other girls are between that and like 14. In this one, they're all teenagers except for Lottie, who is 8 here, and in the original book she was 4. So yeah, they get aged up to the point where it's more appropriate for them to be thinking about I don't know, any kind of relationship at all.
I mean, you could have like actual friendship at age 8, but yeah, even going for
like at least 2 or 3 of the girls you can add that, like, those are the 6 characters whose roots you have. It's Jesse, Lavinia, Lottie, who's too young for actual romantic stuff, obviously. Ermengarde, who is a classmate, and I forget what her feelings are. Becky, who mostly comes in later on in the thing. She's a scullery maid. I think her thing is at least kind of romantic. And Marielle, Mariette, who is Sarah's maid at the beginning of the story, and is significantly older. And I believe their relationship is just close friendship. So yeah, it's interesting. A lot of the writing style seems to be, if not to literally faithful to the book, it seems to be sort of evoking the style of that kind of book. And there are definitely some things that are actually paraphrased from the book. And yeah, I mean, I guess it's not big spoilers because it's in the demo, but this is a riches to rags to eventually riches again story in the original, where she starts out, her father is from India and is very rich and sent her to school, and then partway through, depending on version of the story, because the movie did it differently than the book, and I haven't even gotten far enough to figure out exactly which one it is in this one. Your father, who had an expedition to a diamond mine or something, either dies or is thought to be dead. And then Sarah can no longer be comfortable, and she has to work as a maid and such in the school instead of being a student. And then at the end, either she ends up coming into some significant amount of money from the investments. So it's interesting because because she was always, at the very beginning, she was always very nice, and then it's a real test of character to remain nice when your situation is less fortunate. And in the main story, she traditionally manages it, but I don't know if there's any variation in that in the later parts of this game. This is actually a quite long game. It's broken up by weeks. There are, I think, 38 weeks in the game, of which the first 20 or so are pre-incident. And the gameplay flow generally is that at the beginning of a week, you will choose which lessons you want to pursue, or later in the game, what chores or feelings you have to deal with after you're no longer a student. And you get icons from that represent various attributes. And then at the end of the week, it just goes through those each one of the things that you can choose to do has 3 possible results. And then at the end of the week, after she automatically goes through the things and chooses which and gets whichever the things they are, the icons you get tallied up into and get added to your attributes. But there are some things that will like alter the number of icons you got. Like, for example, early in the game, practice dance can give you vigor, the exercising icon that gives you vigor. But there's also one of its 3 possible results is double all exercise icons. So you can get that if you get that later in the week after having done it earlier in the week and gotten some, you can greatly increase that. And then after that, you either get a scene or you go directly to the choose whether you want to do a scene with one of the characters that you have a link with, which you establish, you get the characters added to the thing automatically when they show up in the story, which require certain levels of various attributes to go into, which increase as you pass through the story, and some of them expire over time and some of them aren't available until certain times, etc. And also when you choose one of those, you lose some of your attributes. I haven't figured out exactly what the mechanic on that is, but your attributes do go down over time, and I think it happens mostly when you do a scenario. If you choose to not do any scene, to skip the week, or to not have an event that week, it won't go down as much. But if you're trying to progress through and get, like Adam said, there are 6 endings. You kind of get locked into those in approximately the last third of the game. So you can go through the first 2/3 of the game or so trying to go through the normal events for 3 or potentially even 4 characters, and then like save before you get locked in and choose one and play through that one, and then load your save and go through a different one, and like that. Also, this version has pretty generous the Switch version at least has pretty generous rewind and skip functions. So, for example, if you don't get the icons you need to do a thing you want, you can rewind to when you were choosing the things for that week. And if you just put in the same things, you'll get the same results. But if you change what thing you were doing on which day, it'll be re-rolled, so you might be able to get the thing you wanted. It's a little bit annoying that it doesn't tell you exactly what you need for the next step of everything before you choose your activates, but I guess you could look at that the week before and note it down so you know what you're looking for. Unlike a lot of this kind of visual novel, the main character is not a cipher. Sarah definitely has a very strong personality, as befits the main character of an actual novel. She was raised by her father in India. Her mother died in childbirth, so she is an extreme daddy's girl, but also her father raised her to be very sensible in a way that Victorian society is generally not. So she thinks that a lot of the stuff that people do to be fancy is strange and doesn't quite understand it. I don't know. The headmistress of the school, I'm sure this will shock you. She kind of plays nice at first, but she's kind of a jerk, especially when you're not rich anymore, because she cares a lot about social standing and stuff. Yeah, the character writing is generally pretty strong, I think, which, again, some of it's borrowed, but not all of it. I can't speak too much because obviously I guess it's not obvious, but I have not read the book. Certainly not recently. The music is also really good. It's very appropriate for the setting, I think. The character designs are a little bit interesting. It's like one step more anime than you'd expect, and also you have to suspend disbelief for what people would actually do in Victorian times. A little bit, because a lot of stuff is a little bit more colorful and fancy than probably would have been accepted properly. Yeah, I think overall, and this game is what, $15 you said, Adam?
Yep.
If the genre appeals to you and you're not like into it for like a super if you're okay with it being like kids and like child romance rather than like adult sexually involved romance, then yeah, I would probably actually recommend this pretty strongly. Do you guys have any questions?
Nope. Like,
I think I'm good.
I will note this was put out by Radalikia on the consoles, which
they do visual novels, and their visual novels are a bit of a different standard than their platformers, I think.
depends. Like, they put out some short visual novels as well, but yeah, I don't think we've ever seen anything of this caliber on the platforming side. Like,
Fair.
and I guess consider that a bit of connective tissue because, well, do you have anything else to say about A Little Lily Princess?
I think I've said everything I had to say.
All right. Well, then, coming up after the break, Petty Fan will be reviewing Sun Wukong versus Robot.